Telling the truth is the only mandate we believe in. Today's News Talk Radio, TNT.
Welcome back to Jason Q Citizen and Friends. Yesterday we learnt that Greens Senator Lydia Thorpe stood down as Senate leader over undisclosed links to a criminal motorcycle gang. Here with more is Senator Ralph Babet. Welcome back to the show, Ralph.
Hello, Jason. Thank you for having me on your show. I love coming on your show every single time. I always have a great time with you. It's so good to have a radio station that allows conservative voices to speak, because let's face it, we're being censored everywhere else, aren't we?
Oh, well, look, we certainly are. We're being censored everywhere. But I'll tell you what, everything that we're talking about is being proven, unravelled in real time. But the news you've got for today is something entirely unexpected, but it highlights a deeper problem, doesn't it?
It highlights a very, very deep problem. Let me go into the details. Now, for those out there who don't know, Senator Thorpe of the Greens had a relationship with a bikie, but not just any bikie. The former president of the Rebels bikie gang, while at the time being a member of a parliamentary law enforcement committee that was receiving briefings from the Australian Federal Police about bikie gangs and organised crime. Now, how is that for a conflict of interest? Now, first of all, what a dark day for bikies to have to admit that one of their members was dating a Green senator. I mean, come on, these big tough guys riding horses made of steel, hard-drinking, tattooed men. Now, it'd be funny, and it'd be a great joke, wouldn't it, if it wasn't so damn serious. Absolutely amazing news.
It goes further than that, doesn't it, Ralph? Because what it's showing is how easily people in power can be infiltrated and deflected. Now, this may have been organised, it may not have been, but it's just impossible. So whether she's obviously being compromised in all of this, but it's what we don't know, of course, is what information gets out or not. So what can you tell us more about what happens from here?
Look, what I'd like to see is I'd like to see an inquiry into this incident. Australians demand an inquiry. They want to know exactly how deep this goes. Now, let me be clear. I am not saying that she shared confidential information with this bikie boss. Maybe she didn't. But the point is, it doesn't look good, does it? And we don't know exactly what happens. We don't know how deep it goes. Now, it was revealed by the Sydney Morning Herald that Adam Bandt allegedly knew because two former staffers approached his office with concerns. Allegedly, He knew. And if he knew, he did nothing. He claims that he only found out when the story broke in the media, but these staffers have come forward and said that his office knew, potentially, back in May 2021, right around the time of the federal election. Now, could it be that they were trying to keep things quiet so as not to damage their election campaign? Potentially. I can't prove it, but like I said, that's why we need a full and deep inquiry into exactly what Mr. Adam Bandt knew or didn't know about this. The public, I think, Jason, demands it. And if it's true that he knew, Jason, if it's true that he had knowledge of this, then Adam Bandt needs to step down immediately as the leader of the Greens and hand leadership of the Greens over to Larissa Waters or Sarah Hanson-Young. That's what he needs to do, because I tell you what, the Greens love to virtue signal. They love to virtue signal like they're better than everyone else, like they're better than you, like they're better than me. They're so virtuous. But look what's happened. In reality, they're anything but. And to make matters worse, the cherry on top of all of this, her former partner claimed that she was cheating on him at the time, and he found out when the story broke in the media, and he put it on his social media last night. I mean, come on.
This is such a disappointment for the high standards that people expect from their leaders, but it's not unprecedented, unfortunately. But this is about as bad as it can possibly get in the normal business, isn't it, Ralph?
It's absolutely horrendous. And this is not even, the only thing that Senator Thorpe has been involved in. I mean, I'll list off some examples of what she's done. She regularly attacks her colleagues in the Senate on the basis of their skin colour. She abused police over deportation of sex offenders. She misled the Australian people by not swearing in, by inappropriately swearing her allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen when we were all sworn into the Senate. She supports the burning of our flag. She slags people off all the time. And, this is just one of many things that Senator Thorpe, unfortunately, has been involved in. And you know what? Even Peter Dutton, the leader of the opposition, came out yesterday, and I'm going to quote here. I'm going to quote him directly so the lynch mob doesn't come after me. But he said that Senator Thorpe, and I quote, was not fit to be in Parliament. Then he went on to say, you can't receive confidential briefings on bikies during the daytime and sleep with bikies at the night time. Now, those are his words, not mine, but is he wrong? Is he wrong? I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong.
No, you're dead right, and it's good to hear that an opposition leader's got a pair and will happily speak out and appropriately. Ralph, I want to cross quickly while I've got you and just get an update of what's happening in Victoria, and something that I found quite disturbing today, and it's not related to the UAP, of course. It's related to the sitting opposition leader, Matthew Guy. He posted on his social media sometime mid-morning, around 11:30 this morning, of him and having a yum cha lunch with two people, and 41 minutes after the post had gone out, there were 2 likes on it. So it's telling us that he's got absolutely no support and he's not interested in campaigning. It seems to be beyond pathetic to give Daniel Andrews yet another free kick into office. What's the UAP doing in Victoria? How are you going and what's the plans?
Look, let me tell you about the UAP. The UAP has been there since day one, championing conservative values. We've been the Conservative Party since the moment that we came to be. Now, as I'm sure everyone out there has noticed, the Liberal Party is basically Labor light, especially in Victoria. It is Labor light. So it's no wonder that, rusted on Liberal Party voters are turning away from the Liberal Party in droves, and they're coming to Conservative parties like the United Australia Party. And I don't blame them. The Liberal Party, Matthew Guy, has done nothing over the last 2 years to champion conservative values. All of a sudden, he comes out on social media here and there and, he starts talking like what the UAP's been talking for the last 2 years, talking about freedoms and, conservative values and all this kind of stuff. He's, as far as I'm concerned, he's a liar. He's noticed that his party is a train wreck, and he's literally jumping on the UAP bandwagon, stealing our talking points and acting like they're his. When for the last 2 years, when we were suffering during lockdown, when pregnant women were getting arrested in their homes, when you couldn't go and have a coffee with your friend unless you showed your vaccine passport, what did he do? What did the Liberal Party do? Nothing. He did nothing. And you know what? It's a bit rich from him now coming out acting like he's some great almighty conservative leader of the centre-right when he's not. The UAP is the party of the centre-right. If you want to make a difference, if you want to make a change this election, you've got to vote one UAP. Forget the Liberal Party. They're done and dusted. It is the reason why they do not hold power anywhere in Australia apart from New South Wales, and are about to lose that too, and Tasmania. That's it. They're a joke.
Yeah, well said. And it's very, very disappointing. And they're going through a period of navel gazing, but for some reason they just can't find any traction on anything. And they just need to go back to their core values, which is what people are begging them to do. And yet they're stuck in sort of this daisy wokeville, trying to out woke the Labor Party that seems to be running on this magic carpet of ignoring everything that's going on. And Adam Bandt's actions and Lydia Thorpe's actions are a perfect case of it. They're not interested in the cost of anything. They're only interested in this woke ideology. And we're going into an energy crisis. We've got all sorts of risks now in terms of our food security, interest rates rising, and they are all silent on all of it. It's very, very scary. Now, the big news overnight, of course, was Liz Truss has stood down after a very, very short period at 44 days as Prime Minister. What's your take, and who do you think would be put into that position next?
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Look, what was Liz Truss about and why is she gone today? I'll tell you what she was about, at least on paper anyway. She was about free markets. deregulation, less government spending, lower taxes, more individual rights. That's what she wanted, right? So Western nations, we're in the grips of major financial problems at the moment. The UK is no different. We're all going to suffer right now because of, we're up to our eyeballs in debt. Now, much of it is because of a response to COVID, but also because of our fixation with big government and our obsession with renewable energy, which requires massive subsidies. Now, the UK situation demonstrates how difficult it's going to be for governments to wind back unsustainable spending. Now, Truss proposed tax cuts in a bid to stimulate business and to help the middle class recover. But she was met by global financial interests who threatened to crash the market if she tried. Now, these problems are not new. Margaret Thatcher, she faced similar dynamics during her time. But what's new, Jason, is a generation of leaders who are too weak to implement the required solution. If she had been allowed to keep her tax cuts, I believe that the middle class would have had more money and the economy would have moved towards recovery. But she didn't have the strength or potentially the support of her party to do what needed to be done. Now, here in Australia, similar things are happening. We're being told that we're unlikely to pay off our debt until 2050, but only if we reduce our spending by $44 billion every year between now and 2050. Now, we have to ask ourselves, do our political class, do our leaders have the courage to do what needs to be done, or will they continue to kick the can down the road and make our unsustainable debt problem a problem for the next generation to deal with? So what I'm saying is we're going to face challenges. They're not easy. They're not easy challenges, but we're desperately in need of political leaders with the kahunas, with the fortitude to do what needs to be done, and then the courage to actually do it. So what's going to happen next? Who's going to be in charge of the UK next? Well, I can guarantee you this. The Conservative Party in the UK is dead, much like the Conservative Party right here in Australia is dead. Her successor is going to be a globalist. It's going to be a globalist who wants a big state, who wants high taxes. It's happening all over the world. The apparatchiks of the big high taxing state, the less individual rights establishment, these apparatchiks are everywhere. They're right here in Australia, they're right here in Canberra, they're right here on Spring Street in Victoria. They're everywhere. So we need leaders to step up, say no chance, not on my watch, and have the balls to do something about it. That's what we need, and the UAP's here.
Yeah, well said, Ralph. And it's a big deal because people are just feeling more lost at sea in all of this. And when you can realise what's going on in this great big jigsaw puzzle chess game that's going on, it's pretty obvious that you only need to look up a new politician's name to see if they're connected to this globalist organisations. And the World Economic Forum, unfortunately, just seems to be producing all these leaders, one in, one out, and here comes another one. So it's yeah, and here we're looking at Rishi Sunak as the hot favourite to slot in, and of course he has got WEF sponsorship all up and down his costume that he wears. It's a very concerning situation. So it continues to go on. I know you've got to go. You've got other engagements. Thanks, Ralph, for the update, and I look forward to speaking with you again with more from what's happening with this Green story. And it's nice that at once these people can be held to account, and you're illustrating exactly the purpose of the check and balance in the system. Keep up the good work. That's Senator Ralph Babet from the United Australia Party. Thanks again, Ralph.